right, here we are, here we go. This is Morning Journal session number 201, and I am your host. And they call me G. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of time with me. It's good to have you here on this beautiful Monday morning, or for some, it might be what feels like still Sunday night. Either way, we're getting things started here for session 201 of the Morning Journal. And it's good to get back here with you. As we normally do, we try to start the conversation with a little bit of, just kind of checking in to see where you are, or kind of bringing our attention into the present moment. And we're going to do that with our first prompt. Special shout out to first in the room, first in the place, Mr. Ant Capone, checking us out over on YouTube. Thank you so much for being here, fam. Let's go ahead and get our first prompt cracking. All right, here we go. So we're going to start out just by checking in with ourselves. Right now, I noticed is the question, what is present in your current environment, in your current experience? What do you notice about what you are feeling or experiencing or seeing right here at this moment? Where it says, I am very comfortable right now. That's a great way to be at this time of day. This comfort is draining. So if you're feeling very comfortable right now, that's really great. I'm glad to see it. Cat's Up is in the building. Good morning. Let us know, what do you notice right now? What's something that you notice? And Capone says, I am up and alert on this Monday. Up and alert, up and at 'em. Sometimes Mondays can be a mixed bag, especially if you are not operating on if you're operating on a traditional Monday through Friday type schedule, and you have your weekends to relax and your morning, your work day. Sometimes Monday mornings are a little bit of a struggle. So I'm glad to see that Ant Capone is up and Adam early this morning. Shout out to my friend backstage. It's good to have you here. I hope you can see and hear everything okay. All right. We have more friends on YouTube watching the experience go down. Thank you so much for being here. So Noble Ancient notices, right now I notice I am home in time for G's awesome stream. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you made it back, and I hope you had a good weekend at work. I know you last week when you made it back in, it was a little bit of an adjustment of about a day or two, but then you were right back in the groove. And I'm glad that you were able to make it home in time to be with your family and to be here with us. Alexa says, my muscles are sore and tired. I feel emotionally drained, yet curious and hopeful. Emotionally drained, yet curious, hopeful. It's always a mix, right? Welcome in, Tallest Gnome. It's good to see you again. Glad that you could make it in. Cat's Up, thank you so much for the like. We're just checking in as we getting started, easing into our experience. What do you notice right now? I notice my backstage guest. It's nice to see you here. All right. Thank you so much for the like, Gibby. I appreciate you. So right now, at this very moment, I notice that the song that I'm listening to, the song that you're hearing right now in the background, is one that I used in a video featuring someone I lost recently. It was a folk artist who I had the privilege of collaborating with over the course of several years. She recently passed away, and in one of the videos where I featured her, this song was used in the score of that video. So I'm right now noticing a sense of like gratitude, a little bit of melancholy, a little bit of a little sadness. You know, it's always a mix, right? I think that if we are really being perceptive, there are a number of things that are present in our experience, and we can judge them in a variety of different ways. How we judge that experience kind of is a gauge of our level of okayness. It's all just part of being alive. Gibby says, Uncle G, you are a part of the peace that I need this morning. Well, thank you, Gibby. I'm glad that this is a peaceful space for you. Tallest Gnome says, you're noticing not sleeping. You were sick over the weekend, but you're hanging in there. Shout out to Harley. Harley Quinn is listening in. Thank you so much for being here. So Tallest Gnome was sick over the weekend, and I guess we've had a lot of that going around. Sometimes when your physical health is kind of not great, it takes up your entire life. You know, it's like, you know, you can't think about anything else but wanting to be well. But thinking about the experience of the weekend is a great transition, I believe. It's a great way to how can I say? Yeah, we're going to get into talking about the weekend in our next prompt. If we're ready to do that, go ahead and drop a little, drop a heart. That's what we usually do, right? So Tim is here. Quasha is here. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. If you want to keep sharing what you noticed, that's perfectly fine. But we can also, we're also going to get ready to move into the next prompt to do a little bit of reflection on the course of events over the weekend. So, the weekend. What was the most memorable moment of your weekend? And I mean, fully acknowledging that for some of us, the weekend is the work week. You know, we don't all live in the same rhythms. But if the last couple days constituted a shift in your routine, you know, where you have some downtime or where you can do some different things, what would you say is the most memorable moment since the last time we got together? You know, it's been a couple days. Let's catch up. What's been good? All right, Jehovah Thickness says the most memorable moment of the weekend was getting an email for that modeling gig for where you shop all the time. How about that? Hey now, we're gonna see you on IG, rocking. I don't know what do you what do you get from there? What do you get from there? well, whatever it is you get, you're gonna have it in one of those little photo collages that you put up there with you'll slip a thirst trap in the middle of a few innocent photos to catch us slipping out there. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't mind you throwing a couple traps out there for them, with a little at them on a few traps, get a little traffic popping over there. Noble Ancient says, my most memorable moment of this last weekend was finding out that work passed their inspection. That's what's up. Y'all get to stay open. BJ's ain't got the rat from Ratatouille back there making the dishes. They good to go. Passed the inspection. And I know, you had a big part in helping that happen. So that's good news. Alexis Autumn says, going to a church to hear a TED Talk about what sounded like a G morning journal. That's a lot. Wait a minute, let's unpack that a little bit. You went to a church and there was a TED Talk and it felt like you were in morning journal. I guess that's the blend, right? I know on a Wednesday night we had Alberto was in Wednesday night and someone hit him with that he sounded like a pastor. I mean, that wasn't me talking, that was him talking. Because he has a really raspy voice, or gravelly voice. And I've had people come in here and say that the vibe felt sort of like TED Talkish at moments. I don't know. However it comes across for you, if it works, I'm glad to have you. If the experience is good. So for Tim, it was spending time with a new friend and learning them in a non-traditional way. Yeah, I think it's amazing how we have sort of patterns of the way that we communicate, and a lot of times when we have new people that come into our life and our experience, we have our standard getting to know you conversation, right? There's the getting all the logistical things to kind of get a feel for what a person is like and where they're coming from. And I think a lot of times we resort to that way of connecting with people just because, it's out of habit. You don't want to, you don't want to go too far, be out the blue. You never know how it's going to go. But it's much more interesting to kind of let things unfold in a non-linear, non-chronological way. To get to know someone through sort of just experiencing slices of their life can be really a fascinating way to build a connection. So, I love that. Really love that. All right. Anyone else want to share a memorable moment of the weekend? I guess sometimes, sometimes you can have experiences when you notice how time is so much different when you're older than when you are a child. Some days when you were young felt eternal. And then when you get older, time seems to vanish for somehow. But sometimes you have these experiences that feel like an extended moment, that feel like an eternity in the best way. It's still possible. Time is fake, Tallest Gnome says, this weekend I was recognized by a gaming community. I put together a great Minecraft build and everyone loves it. Hey, there you go. Congratulations on that. it's really good when you put some time and effort and attention into a creative project and other people appreciate it, find value in it. And that's one of the valuable things about community is they provide a venue for you to share your gifts. And it's good to have validation for the things that you value. I mean, sometimes we are validated and complimented about things that we don't have any control over, and it's nice to have a compliment, about your appearance or your eyes or your, something physical about you. And to some degree, you might have had some sort of, you might have worked on that. You might have put yourself together in a certain way, and that's cool. But a lot of times, compliments are pretty shallow. People don't understand what's important to us. So the compliments that they share with us are nice, but not really connecting with us in the same way as when you're complimented about a labor of love of some sort. That is different. When someone notices something in you that others don't, but you wish they did. When people discover something in you, that's a different level, right? So I'm glad that you had that experience. For Aunt Capone over in YouTube says, memorable moment for me, my power was out. Man, I know with the weather, different parts of the country, ice storms, snowstorms, you have power outages and all kinds of stuff like that. So kind of navigating that situation, it really makes you grateful for what you have. So Alex and Miss have joined us. Thank you so much for being here. Good morning. Let us know. Right now, we're just kind of checking in on the weekend, looking over the last couple days, what really stands out for you. What's a memorable moment? Warrior is in the building. Welcome in. Miss says that memorable moment was a new crush and realizing that a failed relationship doesn't make me undesirable and broken. That's awesome. I love that. I think, love has a redemptive quality, doesn't it? It's like, man, I'm not crazy. I'm not broken. Just because that relationship was broken, it doesn't mean that I'm broken. So much rides on picking the right one, So I'm glad that I'm happy for you, Miss. And thank you so much. When jazz is playing, my voice sounds like jazz. If I got, I think this playlist is pretty jazzy, so that's going to be what it is today. But I'm glad that you are enjoying it. All right, folks. If we're ready, we can drop a heart in the chat to go to our next prompt. Miss says, you see my video content, I am jazz. Okay. I'll take it. All right, let's go. This prompt kind of leads into what will be I guess, with the meat of the conversation, at least in the beginning. And the question that I want to kind of put forward, and we're talking since Miss is talking about jazz, it's a great opportunity to go into the metaphor that kind of came to mind as I was thinking about our conversation today. And the question is about amplification. What would you like to amplify in your life? And I think for me, I think about mixing music, not like in a DJ sense, but like when it's being created, taking all the different elements, the different sounds, the different instruments and voices, and bringing them together. There's certain parts that you want to stand out at certain moments, and there's certain things that are kind of designed to be in the background. There's some things that we want to put forward. And there's some things that we want to kind of sit in the back. And it's not about trying to find something or add something that's missing. It's about levels, you dig? Tim says the problem with listening to your stream while I work out is that I'd rather work out these eyelids to sleep. Yeah, today especially, I guess, this is not necessarily the energy is not for working out. At least not today, at least not yet. There might be a few moments later on. But, yeah. Someone says, gratitude and focus is something that you would like to amplify. Joe for Thickness says, I just wanted to say I wanted to amplify more of my music everywhere. Build your platform, be heard by the right people who can connect with and appreciate the art that you're sharing. I know I enjoy it. I had an opportunity to go through your catalog a little bit. So I appreciate the work that you're putting in over there. Noble Ancient says, I want to amplify perspective. Ice Bear is here. Thank you for joining us. Let us know, what would you like to amplify in your life? What do you want to bring forward in the mix to be the leading voice in the collection of sounds and experiences that represents who you are? I don't know, there's a classic sketch from Saturday Night Live about needing more cowbell. Cowbell is awesome, but there's levels, right? And I guess the follow-up question is like, how can you do that? And how might you amplify the things that you would like to amplify in your life, in your experience? And Jehovah Thickness says, hey, I found a way I can get my music on Spotify in people's playlists. So that's definitely a first step. Sometimes it's a tactical thing that you need to figure out. Like, how do I do this? What steps can I take to bring this forward? A lot of times the things that we want to amplify are really internal. So Ice Bear is talking about a lack of motivation. So you want maybe turn up your levels of motivation so you can get out there and do the things that matter to you. Alexis is amplifying positive opportunities for growth. Amplifying positive opportunities for growth. I think that's when you have to be kind of careful with, in terms of, it's like one of those things where, you want more patience, and the way that you have to obtain more patience is through enduring things that you would rather not endure. And growth is similar in that the way that we grow often is through a path of resistance. We can't, that's what makes us grow. The hardships that we endure, the challenges that we overcome, the pain that we are able to work through, those are the things that are, a part of growth. There's a discomfort that comes with growth. So sometimes a positive opportunity for growth will come disguised as a challenge that you have to overcome, something that maybe you have avoided before that now you have to face and lean into. So I hope you're ready for that. Noble Ancient says, I want to learn how perspective can be amplified and how it can be expanded. Research. Yeah. Perspective. Amplifying your perspective. Jovi is here. Berlin is here. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're talking about amplifying things in our life. Starting with that, it's like first noticing that some of the things that we think we are missing is, some of those things are already present. It's just that they are not turned up in the mix. We haven't given them the attention that they require to make them more prominent in our experience. So it's not necessarily about going after something that's just completely missing. It's about rebalancing, reshuffling. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it, Berlin. I appreciate you for being here today. So if we can still continue to think about this question for a bit longer. Tim says, remember the things that matter. I will start writing those things down and place them somewhere I'll remember. That's a great strategy. I think that's a great strategy for anyone who is trying to amplify, because I think writing things down is magical, and keeping them in front of you, reminders in your environment, work extremely well in helping you amplify. It's like creating a filter, and you start to notice the things that you are attuned to in that way. You kind of get more of what you focus on. It's crazy. You get more of what you focus on. And, I think the magic behind that idea is just the fact that there is so much abundance everywhere that when you focus, you just start noticing more of that abundance. All right. Are we ready to go to the next one? Let me know. Drop a heart in the chat if we're ready to go to the next one. I got to take a couple deep breaths here. We got Richard. Cousin Richard is in the house. Good to see you this morning. Richard comes in with like a million fists, so there's no doubt that you're in the place. And also, for folks who might be listening over on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch or wherever you might be tuning in, let me know. Do you hear the music? Because I messed around last time and I did not send the music over, and I was talking into the wrong mic. It was just a mess. So let me know if I sound okay. You can hear the music and we back the way that we're supposed to be. I know I still look like Alderman Davis from Good Times because the lighting and everything is not right. My camera is what it is, but hopefully it sounds okay. All right, I see a couple of hearts, so we're going to get ready to go into we're going to go into the next prompt. Mama J is here. Hi, Mama J. Thank you for joining us. All right. Demon Hell of King. Thanks for the like. I appreciate you. All right. Here we go. as we always do, or as we often do, we take the flip side of the question. So if the last question was about what you want to amplify, the next one is like, what do you want to reduce? Because when you're trying to create, kind of extending the metaphor about, sound, which is kind of what we are building this conversation around, there's some things that maybe you want a little less of. And it's not necessarily about judging the thing, because we have to be careful about how we judge things as good or bad. Sometimes, when you judge something and you want to cut it, some of us don't have a good relationship with power, and the judge summons the rebel. So when we react that way, we'll rebel against a thing out of spite, even if we're the ones who are saying that we want to do it, because we petty. So when you decide that you want, I'm not going to do that anymore, there's like a part of you that like, you can't tell me what to do. Let me just catch up with the chat real quick. Mama J says, I'm recovering my last day from COVID. Take your hospital meds, allergy meds to help your breathing. Well, I'm glad that you are on the mend, and hopefully you'll be back 100%. You guys drinking that Gatorade to stay hydrated, spilling it all over the floor. Get it together now. So, talking about reducing things, Joe Vidigna says, I want to reduce my levels of procrastination, reduce levels of indecisiveness. Yeah. Kind of going back and forth, not trusting the process. I think a lot of times procrastination and indecision is a form of procrastination, because I think that sometimes we think that there is a perfect decision that will make things go without a hitch, and we won't get started until we find that perfect path. In the meantime, in so many cases, it's about trying something and then kind of making adjustments as you go. That's the way to do most things. Miss is trying to reduce resistance to growth. It's time to get uncomfortable with being stagnant. It's like you feel like you just coasting a bit, and you want to maybe incorporate some discomfort in your experience so that you can grow. I love that. Tallest Gnome has been wondering how to reduce burnout. I'm not sure what to change yet. Yeah, I think burning out, what is it that leads to burnout? I think there's a lot of conversations about that now, especially over the last couple years, where the lines have been blurred between our work life and our home life. We've been faced with the reality of our mortality because of all of the sickness and the death and all the things that have been so prominent over the last couple years. So it's like we have an urgency that adds to, it makes it difficult to operate from a place of peace. There's like a battery being slapped in your back, but at the same time, you're under constant stress. So it's definitely a difficult thing. I guess really the only antidote to burnout is to have a healthier relationship with time and slowing down and not being afraid to slow down. Slowing down can be terrifying because we have been sort of infected with, this constant fear of missing something. Alexa says, I want to reduce my natural resistance to change. Not all about that change. You want to get better about being open to these new possibilities in front of you. I guess one thing about, resistance, again, I guess the way that we label it is significant. Getting into the habit of leaning into the resistance is one way to address that, I guess. Mo is here. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I'm a few seconds behind in the chat, kind of making sure I get all the prompts, but I really appreciate everyone's engagement with these ideas. So Tim says, I want to reduce unnecessary events. I want to feel like my day was meaningful, whether it's just enjoying myself or educational. Finding meaning every day. Reduce the unnecessary. Mama J is getting back to your fitness trainer, working out. Getting back to work and applying for new jobs to help my girlfriend grow better. Girlfriend and grow better with your lady. It seems like you are, I know that when you are recovering from an illness, sometimes you want to just get back out there and catch up on things. So I encourage you to ease into that recovery. Ease into resuming your routine, because I think in the long run that might be more healthy for you, Mama J. Because I think we underestimate the way that illness breaks us down. So, Noble Ancient I want to reduce negative thinking. I want to reduce negative thinking in the day's adventure. There's a time and place to examine the ways that things might fall apart, but maybe you're doing a little bit too much of it. Emma wants to reduce the amount of time sitting. There you go. I'm with you on that one. There's some things that I just need to be, I need a standing desk, I guess. That might be something that would enhance my experience, so I might look into that. A treadmill desk or something, because sitting down is a killer. Reduction of burnout is an increase in self-care. That's a great insight, Miss. Thank you so much for sharing that. I know that was a concern of the tallest gnome. Tim is willing. I don't know, Tim, if you want to switch. I don't know if you want to switch with MO or not, Courage-chan, it's good to see you this morning. Thank you for being here, and thank you for dropping a like. Coming out of a meditation and then joining us here. That's a great way to reduce your stress levels. Reduce your level of stress. Increase your health. Yeah, that immune system. So one thing I really appreciate is the level of awareness that you all have. DJ Prodigy's in the building. How we doing? Thank you so much for the like. Let us know, what are you trying to reduce? Seems like Mama J has a pretty full plate, and also a lot of different strategies that you're doing, employing to make your life better for you and your loved one. or loved ones. So I appreciate you sharing those. It's great to be, kind of oriented towards and valuing growth in all the different ways that is possible for us. I think growth in the concept, reducing is also an aspect of growth. You can think about it like pruning. If you've ever dealt with a plant or, kind of in you got plants, you're trying to grow fruit. Sometimes you need to prune some things in order for the things that are important to have space to flourish. So reduction is a part of growth. Taking time for less stress, less social media. I think that might be a healthy choice for a lot of folks. Maybe social media is taking up too much of your time and attention. All right, here we are. I hope everyone is feeling good this morning. I feel like I'm in my groove now. We're back. It's Monday. We're rolling again. I have a few more prompts to get through. If we're ready, drop me a heart in the chat and we can get into that. Paymon, thank you for joining us. And Mama J, thank you for the light. All right, let me see what we got here. You know what? I'm not even going to try to read your name. Gohan. I'm just going to say Gohan. Welcome. So here we go. Let's take a look here. We've been talking about growth, and a lot of times growth comes through engagement with a challenge. So if you look around at your life right now, the activities that you engaged in on a regular basis, the goals that you are pursuing, consider this question. In what areas of your life are you operating near the edge of your current ability? Where are you really kind of pushing yourself? Because, the conversation has been about growth, rightfully so. And most of the time, growth comes from kind of pushing those edges, giving a little, exerting some emotional labor. Being willing to put yourself out there. So Jehovah Thickness says, doing stuff out of my comfort zone, doing it out of spite, doing it out of spite towards who? And what are some of the things that you can do that are maybe outside of your comfort zone, but you feel like are important in relationship or in relation to the goals that you're pursuing, the person that you're becoming? What are some of those out of your comfort zone things? So, Britt's family calls you a hermit crab. So, I'll show you. Watch me get out here and do my thing. Mama J says, I work out to help severe depression and anxiety to help me get out in general more. So maybe you are pushing yourself in terms of your physical fitness, and that's giving you some mental health benefits as well. So that's a great strategy. Corey Chana says, I'm working at the edge of my ability in terms of my family and relationships, work, and school. I'm kind of pushing it everywhere. Well, that's not everywhere, but that's a lot of different places. I think sometimes we have a capacity that we work with, and we have an amount of energy that we have available on a daily basis, and we have to decide, okay, this is a thing that matters, and this is something that I'm going to really lean into. So, operating at the edge of your current ability. If you're thinking about it now, I think a lot of times there are phases in life where you think the goal is to get to the point where things are easy. And getting to the point where things is easy is sort of a trap, right? Maybe you never get there. Alexa says, I'm operating near the edge of your current ability with regards to work, including finding a supplemental job. This Hollis Gnome is battling mental and physical health problems. Making myself a meal is a victory most days. I guess the great thing is any victory that you can count on a given day is worth noting, because I don't think we necessarily are aware of the way things are getting better for us if we don't take time to take note of it. So the best you can do at this moment is the best that you can do, and oddly, miraculously, it usually is the case that if you keep doing your best gets better. And then you create a little more margin, and you can have even more victories. It's like a virtuous cycle in that way. Noble Ancient says, between dishwashing and game designing, I have parameters of the edge of my abilities. Hollis Gnome points out how hard it is to recognize victories and not get extremely frustrating. Maybe not having those victories feel like enough for you to get you where you need to go. Yeah, sometimes we are hard on ourselves. We set unhelpful expectations for ourselves, for what's possible for us in this given moment. And we feel kind of down about the fact that we can't do more now. And we give up hope that it's possible that we can do more later if we just keep doing. But over the course of time, that's usually true. You thought I said gang designing? Nah, we're not gang designing. At least I don't think so. I don't think Noble Ancient is flagged up like that, but who knows? Shark Days are upon us. Thank you for joining us, Shark Days. We're thinking a moment about the areas in our life where we're operating near the edge of our current ability. And I'm going to naturally, as you might expect, I'm going to also look at the opposite side of this question here shortly. Sweet has joined us. Welcome in. Thank you for joining us today. Hope that you had a great weekend. Sweet's like, I'm late. No, you're good. I just checked out the PFP like you drinking a cup of coffee or something. It's good to have you here this morning. So here we go. Let's go to the next one. I'm at the edge of, I don't know what's at the edge of my ability. I think I can always improve a bit everywhere. Yeah, we don't find, sometimes it's difficult to find the absolute edge, But I think that you can tell when you are exerting. You can tell when you're straining a little bit. When, you're forced to slow down. I think it's a false edge. In any case, I think it's a false edge. There's usually much more that we are capable of than we actually give ourselves credit for. But nevertheless, you can feel that strain at times. So thinking about that, and then also, I guess, thinking about the opposite of that, which is sort of the next place that we're going. In what areas of your life are you running on easy mode? In what areas of your life are you running on easy mode? That's the question. And if you have places where it's kind of going easy, how is that for you? How is that for you? Because I think that is the dream that we are often sold. Ease is the dream we're sold. So is there a place or there areas in your life where that dream has come true for you? And how is that? Are you running on easy mode? So Britt right now says, I guess the easy mode is being able to be inspired by anything and creating art. And it's cool. It's really great when we're in that zone where inspiration can come from anywhere, and we're constantly kind of aware of the creative energy that kind of permeates the universe. Really, we're kind of plugged in, and being able to be free and easy in our creativity is a beautiful place to be. I've been there at moments. I'm not there all the time. Shark Days says, I guess in emotional improvement, I have all my tools with learning. Now I just need to act. You just need to put it into action, put it in play. Dahlia is here. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Right now we're talking about easy mode. Is there a place in your life where you are operating, where you're running on easy mode? And what's your experience with that? I think there is sort of in some cases, when things get easy, we get to our tendency to self-sabotage starts kicking in because we feel like we need some drama somehow. But there is definitely there needs to be some things that are not a struggle for you. There's places where you can find some regenerative rest or recreation. So Mama J says, I guess painting and playing guitar can be easy to relax your mind and reduce stress, maybe some kickboxing. So Dahlia is asking about, before I even, let's just be cool. All right. All right, here we are. We're reaching the top of the hour, so let me just take a second and say thank you all for being here and joining in the conversation, adding your voice and your perspective. This is Morning Journal session number 201, and I am your host. My name is G. We do this every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern Time. So if this is a conversation that you would like to be a part of, we are here, as well as on YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and other places. If you would like to catch the replay, of course, they're available here. You can also find them on YouTube. Make sure that you hit the notice. There's a link in the notice that will kind of show you all the different places that you can connect with us. I would love it. I would love to have you there. So, back to the question. Playing games with others is something where you're running on easy mode. Let me add a little bit of, I feel like I want to say a little more to add a little context to this question. Mez is here. Welcome in. And I guess I want to say something about sort of our inherent need for challenge. So, challenge and growth, I think, are things that, as much as we think we want to have it easy, in reality, I think we crave a challenge. So thinking about if there's a place where you're running on easy mode, that might translate into a place of stagnation, or where you're feeling a little bored, where you know that you are not, that you're not really reaching your potential. It might show up as something like that. So let's think about that. Do we want it to be easy? Is there a way in which easy mode can be a bad thing? So let me see. So Alexa says easy mode in terms of self-care. What's easy mode in terms of self-care mean? Do you feel like you're doing not quite enough? You're not putting quite as much effort into it as you need to for you to be able to fully get the benefit? Now there are ways that we unnecessarily complicate things. That's a conversation for another day. But Britt says, without the challenge and then beating the challenge, you'll never know what you can actually overcome. We should always get moments of rest, but life isn't worth living if everything is easy. Those are great insights. I think that's true. Alexa says, in terms of self-care, I do it sort of mindlessly. You don't put the level of intention into it that you could. So that makes for a less good experience for you. I feel that. So I think that there's a mix. I think that there is, there are things where we really need to engage and put a lot of attention into. Hey, Spoon Team's in the house, folks. Welcome in. Thank you for listening in with us. We're talking about easy mode versus hard mode. I think if you think about when you play games, it's not that fun if everything is easy. We need some challenges. So everybody be cool. Spoon Team is cool. Everybody's getting nervous. So Shark Day says, I've been feeling stagnant and too at peace, but I don't know what I need to change to feel better. Now, I don't know if there's such thing as feeling too at peace. Peace is good. There's no need to make the challenges be a big old problem for us. But there is a way that we can strive and still maintain our peace. So yes, Spoon Team stopped by. I really appreciate you stopping through. We had a little bit of a mix up, but I'm pretty sure we'll get it figured out. So thank you for popping in and saying hi to us this morning. So Jovi says, Easy mode can sometimes lead to idle mode, too comfortable. Yeah, we can be sleep, mess around and be sleep at the wheel. Shark Dates is clarifying the last statement. It says unemotional, I guess is what you mean, but not depressed. There are challenges I'm facing, but they don't cause stress. Jehovah Thickness says, usually when I see spoon team, that means I'm in trouble. I don't think that's the case this time. I think you're good. Sweet says, I could put more effort into myself as opposed to work. So working on yourself just as hard as, or maybe even harder than you work at your job, could be a way, a path towards growth. Because in the end, that's really what we're talking about, ways that we can grow. Matt says, more effort into my friendships. I don't always feel worthy of relationships. I don't always feel worthy of relationships. Sometimes when we experience isolation, we take that as a signal that that's what we deserve. If you feel isolated, you feel like, okay, well, I'm supposed to be that way, even though it doesn't feel good. And I think it kind of creates a cycle where we continue to normalize that feeling disconnected, even when something inside of us knows that something is missing, and we just have to have the courage to reach out for it. Shark Days says, I guess I could grow academically. I should be putting more effort into my work there. Well, a lot of times, it's good to recognize that, but I would be careful about that should, because a lot of times, like I was mentioning before, that kind of sparks the rebel in you. As soon as you say you should do something, then, that little self-saboteur perks up and says, you can't tell me what to do. Now, you know how we can be petty, right? Have you ever been petty where it was something that you were going to do already, but now since someone told you to do it, now you don't want to do it? That trick also works internally with the things that we say we want to do. It's like, now I was going to do it anyway, but now that you said it, now I'm not going to do it. So everybody, Mez has a big surgery coming up, huge major health event that's going to require a significant amount of recovery, and we're certainly wishing you the best in all of that. Real quick, Cyber Shots is in the house. What's up, Cyber Shots? It's good to see you this morning. And once again, shout out to my backstage guests. Listening and dancing. I love that. All right. So easy mode. We've been talking about that, and it can be a trap. We do need some things that don't require, we do need to have some things that don't force us to be operating at 100% capacity all the time. But, everything is not going to be easy. And I think that setting up that expectation can be unhealthy. As soon as you expect ease and it doesn't show up that way, it triggers procrastination. It triggers a hopelessness or a resignation. So procrastination is weird, and sometimes we feel like we operate best under that pressure, but the grand effort that it takes to cram everything in leads to burnout, and then we're right back at the same right back in the same place where we started. Sometimes, we build those challenges for ourselves because we need the energy, but maybe that's a cycle we can break. Okay, everybody, let's take a deep breath for a second. Thank you all for your engagement with these ideas for sure. We're gonna go to the next couple prompts. I do want to have some VIP time with you this morning, so if we're ready, we can jump to the next one. Just drop a heart in the chat. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Where are we? Tallest Gnome, thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it. So this next question, where are you out of practice? Where are you out of practice? I think most of us have things that maybe we used to do that we were good at, or that we were on the path towards getting good at, but we're a little bit out of practice. What are some things? So Shark Days, piano, photography, writing and performing poetry. I think there's sometimes some fear or apprehension about resuming things that we have kind of let slide. Because there's you might beat yourself up. It's like, man, if I had just kept going, imagine how good I would be by now. But I kind of let it slide. Mess says, comedy, writing comedy, a little bit out of practice. Playing the acoustic guitar, learning music, bike riding, physical health. So Miss is like, I feel like my topics will be heavy and unrelatable, so you don't write. Well, I guess there are lots of different reasons for reasons that you write. I think understanding that it doesn't have to be for everyone, it takes some of the pressure off. And even if you don't share it at first, it still can be a practice. Jovi says, I'm out of practice running. I know the winter times can be kind of tough to, can't be running on no ice roads. It's hard to get out there and face the cold. One insight that I came across or that kind of emerged in my experience, I mentioned the judge so many times in the conversation today, how we respond to judgment. One thing that doesn't judge you, one thing that always welcomes you back is your practice. You might beat yourself up for neglecting it and letting it fall, but it's there waiting for you. And yeah, it might be a struggle to build back up, but it's still there waiting for you. You don't have to be afraid to approach it again, because it's your work. It's what you're here for. So it's there. You don't have to be afraid. It's your work. It's there for you. Don't be afraid to go back to it. Don't be afraid to suck at it again, It's all good. Noble Ancient says they're like everyday tasks that you're out of practice of. There's sometimes, there's some very simple, basic, items of self-care that we let go that should be second nature, but we just let it slide. Anything can slide. I want to acknowledge as well, and this is another great example of how much you add to this experience with the way that you engage with each other. I love the way that you see each other. Even sometimes when I miss something or when I've moved on, you continue to take care of each other in the conversations and connections that you make here. And I really appreciate you for doing that. So a practice, especially when you consider it a practice, it is for yourself first. And if you can do it that way, and you can build the muscle by doing it consistently, then you can reach a place where maybe you're ready to take it out public again. And maybe you can share it. And maybe it's something that can enhance another person's experience. Maybe it can be a tool to build connection. I think communities of practice are kind of a new thing that's enabled by the technology that we use to connect with each other. I think at first, we connected interpersonally based on who we were and what we were looking to find in another. But I think because you can now publish, you can build community around your practice and what you make. And that's a powerful thing. Mez says, this is my favorite space, so I went to bed early to be here. Thank you so much, Mez. And thank you for going to bed and taking care of yourself. Alexis says that you're out of practice with being happy and content being alone just as I am when I am with Noble. So you're out of practice being content and happy alone. That's a valuable skill, a valuable practice to be okay, to be able to be okay in a variety of different scenarios. Being okay absent of connection with another person from time to time. Being comfortable in solitude. The solitude that's often required for you to do the work that's most important. Sometimes you have to be willing and able to step away and sit with yourself and your thoughts. And sometimes that fear of being isolated can be a barrier for us, achieving what we need to do. So Mama J has a friend whose tattoo says FLY, first love yourself. That's so fly. I love it. That is a cool tattoo. So Starbucket's here. Welcome in. I don't know. Maybe you're going to drop some cups in the chat. Some people might need a little bit of a pick-me-up. It's nice to have you here. Tallest Gnome is out of practice in self-love. I'm usually in bad company while alone. You're in bad company when you're alone. That's tough. Because you're always there, right? But the good news is you say usually. So there must be some times where you feel good being with you. And, maybe you can amplify, to use the metaphor that we began the conversation with. Maybe we can amplify those experiences where it feels great to be you and you are recognized and appreciated for you, by you, Drink water, drink water. All right. So don't be afraid to return to your practice. Don't be afraid of the judgment of, falling off, the guilt or shame that comes from falling off of a practice. Don't be afraid to begin again. It's okay. We all do it. Today's a new day, a new opportunity. All right. Let's get ready to go to the next prompt. Let me find it here. Shark Days is digging the vibes. I'm glad. I like this playlist. This is playlist I haven't used in a while, but it's a bop. I like it. All right, here we go. What are some ways that you can measure your performance or progress? I think that it's kind of an element of a practice that, eventually over time you get better. There are some things that are kind of pretty easy to measure. So if you are running, you can easily measure how long you run or how far you run or how many days. But it's not about necessarily putting pressure on yourself, but sometimes it's difficult to hold motivation in your mind if you don't have some sort of way to orient yourself on the map of where you want to go and where you are now. Shark Day says, I'm bad at setting goals and measuring progress honestly. It's like a pass-fail situation for Shark Days. I accomplished what I want, or I didn't. Sometimes pass-fail is good enough, depending on what it is. But, it's almost like creating a game out of it that makes it easier to stay engaged with. Mama J says, what's easy in your life? What's easy in my life? It's hard to think of. I'm challenging myself in a lot of ways. So easy is, I don't know. There are some conversations and relationships and, kind of interpersonal things that are pretty easy at the moment. And that's good. And in terms of growth, I'm always trying to enhance my skills and my ability to perform the tasks that are, necessary for the work that I do. I'm always reading and learning and growing and trying to share that in all the ways that's relevant. So I appreciate you asking that, Mama J. I don't always answer the questions, but, I feel like answering that one for you. Shark Days says you're enjoying small processes and taking breaks so the pass-fail mindset doesn't get you. Yeah. Break it down so that you can see it a little bit more granularly. Can't say that word this morning. But I was talking to my daughter is in the process of her final thesis paper. And she's using the Pomodoro Technique to kind of work in shifts and take breaks so that, it doesn't turn into staying up the last two nights and trying to crank the whole thing out. Hey, Starbuck, thank you so much for the spoons. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate that. Starbucks says you struggle measuring progress. Well, I recommend journaling because there's different types of measures. There's like quantitative things, and then there's qualitative things. So the quantitative things are like numbers, depending on what you're kind of trying to create. So for my daughter, it is like, I know this is going to be I don't know how many pages it is. So she knows like every day, how much progress in terms of word count, page count, so that's one way of doing it. But another way is to kind of take note of how you feel in your experience. Maybe you're trying to amplify joy in your life, and just checking in with gratitude and noticing can be a great way to start measuring that. Noble is measuring the progress with each tweak session as the prototype is designed. Sweet is sharing one of those qualitative measures. How happy I feel. It's been a long road to wake up every day to the life is good feeling. Yeah, so if you can wake up more days than not with the sentiment that life is good, notice how you're feeling. So Ann Capone says, you can measure by remember the mistakes that you made yesterday. It's a lot easier to see how better you've gotten when you notice that you're not repeating the mistakes that you used to repeat. So Shark Days is asking about the technique. It's called the Pomodoro Technique. Basically, it involves setting a timer for a short burst of focused creative time. Some people use 25 minutes, some people 40 minutes, but they're taking a break at the end and doing something that is kind of relaxing, something that's a little bit rewarding, but not necessarily that's distracting. Or, I wouldn't say work 25 minutes and then scroll Instagram for the 5 minutes. Do something physical, do something moving your body and then coming back to it. That's sort of the technique. Mr. Swag is here. What's up? Sweet is back. Thank you so much, Sweet, for the support. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you. I'll put some information about that technique in my a post after the stream for those who might be interested in that. So make sure you're following, and I'll give you some details and maybe some resources, tools that you can use to implement that for yourself. Bomb is here. Thank you so much. La Toxica is here. Thanks for joining us. It's a beautiful Monday morning. We're talking about ways that we can measure our progress. Some of those ways are quantitative, looking at numbers. Some of them are qualitative, noting how we feel. Either way is fine. It's just a powerful signal that you're serious about what you're doing if you're willing to measure the progress. It sends a signal to yourself that this is important, this matters. I'm going to take the time and apply the attention to actually see how I'm doing with this. All right, ways of measuring. So, if you haven't figured out a way, maybe thinking about what's a way that I can make a game out of this? Because that's basically what you're doing. It's kind of like superimposing a gameplay element to the thing that you're trying to improve at. It requires a little bit of creativity, but it might be worthwhile for you. All right. If we are ready, let's go into the next prompt. Shark Day says, I haven't tried making a game, but I just use spite and anger. Mo says, I'm going to measure my progress in centimeters because metric system. I love that. And that might not be a bad idea to use a very small increment, because sometimes we feel like we can't see the progress because we are trying to measure at too big of a scale. So Britt says, my progress just comes, I guess. I don't know. Well, I think one way, if you're a creative person, it's really helpful that you document the work that you're doing. So let's say in Britt's example, you make music, and fortunately, you publish your music. So you can go back and listen to stuff that you made a year ago, 2 years ago, when you first started, and then listen to what you make now, and you can see the way that you've grown. So if we get some time in the VIP, we might be able to hear some of Britt's music. Med says, you've listened to your cast from 2 years ago and cringe. That's good. I think that's a sign of growth. If you can't look at something that you did a while ago, and if you're like, man, ugh. If that's not the feeling that you're getting, then maybe you're not growing. Don't want to go back into the past and listen to what you've made. I get it. It's painful to do, but occasionally it might not be a bad idea. If you feel like you're not growing, you'll notice that you are when you listen back. Mama J says, my progress comes from my mistakes I made in my past, making growth for a better future. I find growth every day without even knowing it. Yeah, it's all about awareness. Welcome back, Corey Chan. Thank you for being here. All right. So there is a value. Britt says, I go back to listen to what I made 2010, and man, that was terrible. And the thing is, at the time, you just knew it was fire. Like, you were certain that it was just fire. But our taste gets better, right? Shark Day says, I feel sad when I look back at my past self, but I'm happy that I've made it to be this much better. One thing that I think that, is useful to learn how to do is to be kind to the person that we used to be. They were doing the best that they can. And to not let regrets for the way that we were, overcome us and discourage us from being how we can be now. So holding yourself with kindness. We understand the regret. It has a purpose, like it's a signal that you were not necessarily aligned or at your best, but you really can't operate in the past. So you have to be here now and hold that person with kindness. So Kaloli, Tree, Cherry Chew have joined us. Thank you so much for being here this morning. We're talking about ways that we measure our progress as we come into sort of the last little bit of today's experience. All right. Let me see. How many more do we have? Because I think we're going to do a recap here. Yeah, it's time for the recap. If you want to if you just got here just in time. I'm sorry, I got a little bit distracted. If you just got here, you're just in time for a recap of kind of the journey that we've been on today. So we started by talking about, we kind of catched up over the weekend, but we started talking about ways that we can amplify or things that we want to amplify in our life and experience. So you can't amplify what's not there. So by saying that you want to amplify something, it acknowledges that it is present and that it's available and that it's possible for you. It's not something that you need to go out and get. I think it's true that most of what we need already resides inside of us. It's just turned down too low. And it's a matter of focusing your attention on it and maybe bringing that forward to be more of a theme. So what is it something that you would like to amplify? And how might you do that? I think the greatest amplification that means of amplifying things is our very attention. Just being able to turn our attention towards a thing naturally kind of zooms it up, makes it more apparent and more noticeable in our experience. So of course we start with amplification and then we think about what is it that we would like to reduce. Maybe there's something that's taking up too much of our space, and maybe we can turn it down a little bit. Of course, some things you might want to eliminate altogether, and we can get there. But first, it might be easy to think about, let's just turn it down. Let's bring it down a little bit. You're not bad. You're just not right for this mix, I guess is a way to think about that. Because, sometimes it kind of, we rebel against the things that, we feel like we should be entitled to do these things that might not be healthy. Oh, why can't I do that? Of course you can do it, but maybe it just doesn't fit right now. Molly Whopper has joined us. It's good to see you this morning. Shark Day says, I'm amplifying my concentration. I want to meditate more and do spiritual stuff for myself. So sometimes we amplify things by bringing other things down. So what would you need to reduce in order to allow for more concentration? Jovi wants to amplify patience, for sure. Oil is in the building. Good morning. All right. So from thinking about amplification and reduction, really kind of calibrating our experience, recognizing that so many of the things that we are looking for are already present. We just need to work on the levels. We started thinking about or looking at ways that we are operating closer to the edge of our ability. There's some things that we are really pushing hard towards. We're kind of stretching. So thinking about what area in your life where you are really giving it a honest, sincere effort. And how does it feel to be engaged in that way? I guess it's a question. So where are you giving it all you got, operating at the edge of your ability? Because if growth is the goal, that's sort of what's required to grow. And then as opposed to that, the opposite of that, of course, is where are you kind of coasting? Are there areas in your life where you're kind of on easy mode? You're just kind of coasting. And how does that feel? Does that feel right for you? Thank you so much for the like, Cherry Chew, Molly Whopper, Emmy is here. Thank you so much for the like. I appreciate it. Yeah, really going hard, pushing yourself versus running on easy mode. And then finally, we talked about where are you out of practice? There might be some things that you had built up a level of skill in doing, a discipline that had become pretty firmly embedded in your experience, and now it's kind of like, I kind of fell off a little bit. So where are you out of practice? And that question kind of comes with the caveat or the insight that your practice is still there for you. So even if you've fallen off of the practice and you know that it's going to be a little painful to get back to it, your practice is still there for you. It's okay to restart. Shark Day says, I love these vibes, but I know I'm not going to be able to wake up for this every day. I could dig it. The replays are oddly effective. Even though you might not necessarily be able to react in real time, especially if you catch the replay over on YouTube, you can still share your responses to the prompts and I can see what you have to say. And we can continue the conversation. So Kaloli is looking at the final prompt that we have for today. We were talking about being out of practice, and then finally we talked about ways of measuring progress. So for Kaloli, revising your resume, that's a great way to take stock of where you are right now and what possibilities are available for you. It's a good idea. Tree says, with school, my grades help you measure. With life, I'm still alive. Yes, that's one of the powerful things or the useful things about kind of these institutions or these preset context for learning and growth is that they're kind of built in ways to keep score. And real life doesn't necessarily provide those. We have to kind of create those for ourselves. So, I mean, survival is sort of a good baseline measure. You made it up to this point, but it's kind of a vague measurement. And perhaps if that's your only criteria, there's no telling where you might end up with that. So, so for I, it's like seeing how long it takes to do something is a good measure of your progress. So as you get better at doing certain things, those things get easier for you and it takes less time. So you can see that you've grown. All right. I'll take a couple deep breaths. So for Shark Days, it's like, you no longer regret being born. So that's a sign of improvement. Well, I think when you can feel a sense of happiness and contentment, for sure. I is all about that speed. Speed is useful as long as you're going in the right direction. If you're not going in the right direction, speed is unfortunate. I am Sabrina Joy has joined us. Thank you for being here this morning. Remember accuracy in that speed. Right. There's that saying from the SEALs. I think it comes from the Navy SEALs. Let me get it. Let's see if I can get it right. Slow is steady. Or man, I hate it when that happens. Hold on. Smooth. Man. Does anybody remember what I'm talking about? Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. There we go. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Man, thank you. So slow is smooth. I'm like, line? Yeah. We are mostly unscripted. We're mostly unscripted for this experience. As most of you know, I have the prompts in front of me, and I have a couple sentences of hints as to what I might say, and we just rock with it. But I appreciate your patience as I grapple with the English language and my memory, my recall of specific details. I have a pretty good memory, though. I'll give myself credit for that. Just sometimes, Pancakes Platoon, Hannah, Zach, thank you so much for being here this morning. We're getting ready to get into the next and final prompt of today. So let's do it. So let's bring it down to today, to the practical. Let's think about 1 to 3 essential activities for you today. Sabrina Joy chimes in. I think of my habits as building blocks and accountability points. For the way that you measure your progress. Yes, for sure. I think I got that. So 1 to 3 essential activities of the day is the way that we're going to close out the conversation. Let us know what you doing. What you doing today? Shark Days is asking about the schedule. Morning journal is Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. Eastern time. And we also have one afternoon stream called Rhythm and Muse. Similar in terms of we ask these questions. Maybe the vibe is a little bit more upbeat. But Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, we have Rhythm and Muse. So that might be something that fits well into your schedule. And then Friday at 8 p.m., we have Writer's Room, which is a creative writing adventure. We have the lines open in a panel to read your responses to prompts from Cage's Cafe. So if you can't catch this vibe, maybe you can catch some of the other ones. Let's see what some of these essential activities are. What's going on today? Mama J says working out with the fitness trainer at the gym, meditate, apply for a new job, read a book, write healthy meals. I think you snuck a couple extra ones in there. So, Tallest Gnome says, I have an appointment with my counselor today. That's good. Must do syntax problem set, reading and questions for cycling and practice new jazz charts. New jazz charts. Are we gonna be live with the you like jazz prompt stream later? Let us know. Jehovah Thickness says upload new music, go to a doctor appointment, eat. I'm with you on number 3. I'm hungry right now. Man, I gotta figure out what I'm gonna have for breakfast. Kaloli says I'm gonna work. Your family's flying in. Well, that's cool. Gotta take that car to the shop. Shark says I'm gonna try to eat without getting nauseous. Try to finish a drawing project and maybe do something with your mom. Tree's gonna film. do schoolwork, do some editing. So Sabrina Joy says, self-care activities, schedule dentist appointments, finish daily school plan. Emmy says, my essential activity today is to not smoke. To not smoke. So over in the super backstage, we have someone who's going to work out. That's a priority today. Some workout. Oh man, I love that. I love that. I want to see that. I want to see what some workout looks like. So Emmy's going to not smoke. Mez got to change that oil, eat well, do some cleaning, do some laundry. Tree needs to add laundry to that list. I know, so much laundry, it never ends. Yeah, sometimes, have you ever had so much laundry at some point, it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna throw all this away. I'm just gonna, you know what I mean? It's like, let me just go buy some drawers, y'all. Oh man. So I think it's good, at least if we have one or two things or three things. If the list is too long, it can become overwhelming, and we feel like we're not making any progress. But if we carefully select a few essential things that we can commit to each day at the beginning of the day, measuring the progress of a good day is a great way to get used to measuring your progress overall. And you can build some momentum and positivity in your experience. To set up a game where you know what good looks like, because it's not always clear what good looks like. Man says, I bought 12 pair of underwear. So when you say pair, which part is the... So this is an interesting conversation about pairs. So when you say pairs, what are we saying? Like, why is it a pair? The legs. It's got a pair of holes. Okay. Mo aptly notes out that if everything is essential, then just resort to screen crying. For sure. I'm wondering, if you bought 12 pair, how many did you already have? Are you gonna get rid of some? Because, I guess in a way, the more the merrier. Gotta throw some out. Some have outlived their usefulness. They're looking kind of shabby. It's too early to want to be worried about that. All right, here we go. Let me, y'all can continue to share. This is fun. I'm excited for you to make the most of the opportunities that today presents for you to be more of more of the best version of yourself. So Shark Day says, I don't even pair my socks anymore. If they're the same length, then I rock with it. Approximately. Jerry Chu says, listen, I fold my undies. So, okay, we're getting to know each other in a real intimate way. I'll let y'all continue to do that. We're going to get ready to wrap things up today, though. Let me find our outro music, because I know y'all been missing that. Because y'all know what time it is, and it is about that time. All right. Okay, here we go. We're ready to end session number 201. First and foremost, I want to give a special shout out to my VIP guest backstage. Backstage, if you ever, there's the good seats like right in the front, you can see the show, but then there's backstage and you can kind of watch everything kind of unfold. So shout out to my backstage guests watching everything go down. And of course, shout out to everyone in the VIP over on Spoon. Who we got? We got Mez up in here holding it down, the necktie. Thank you so much, Sabrina Joy, for coming in and sharing your insights. Oyo is here, Jehovah Thickness, the tallest gnome. Thank you for being here. Tree is up in here. Yeah, we got like Shark Days. Thank you for being here. Hopefully we'll see you again soon. Cherry Chew is up in here. Yeah, we got Pandora up in here. Yeah, Mama J is up in here. It's clear. We got Lowly Needles up in here. And Amy is up in here. Smoke free, which is exactly the way you need to be. We got, who left? I guess Mo left to go ahead and start the go to work stream. But thank y'all for being here. I know we didn't have very much VIP time today. Maybe we'll have more time tomorrow. I hope that you have a wonderful Monday, and I'll see you in the morning. We'll be back. We'll be broadcasting from our normal location really, really soon. I'm headed back to face the cold streets of Baltimore. But we'll still keep this thing rolling. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the community. Yeah, we'll see you soon.